Hey guys, it's Rick Picture Productions here, and welcome back to Pimp My Set The Response Episode 2. Now, if you haven't seen Episode 1, I invite you to go watch that first. There'll be a link in the description below. But as most of you know, that we began pimping the UCS Tie Interceptor. Now, last episode, which was about 2 weeks ago now, I apologize for how long it's been. I've been very busy, but I had the time to upload this video. So in the last episode, we built the UCS TIE Fighter cockpit. It's basically completely stock except for little pieces right here. And then we, of course, started the bracket for the wings. I'm really happy how this bracket actually turned out. There's a few more details I want to add to it still, which we'll get to in probably the final episode, which will probably be hopefully next week, depending on how my schedule works, I guess. But that is really what we got down last episode. So in this episode, I'd like to start on the wings. Now, as most of you know, the real one, they were only like 2 plates thick, which is not very thick at all. And then they had this blue color on it, and that really inspired me to just fix this set because that blue just looks very bad. And in last episode we talked about the hinge mechanisms. These are the ones I chose because when it's all together it won't have any gaps when they're connected, because another flaw of the real one is that, as you can see, there's like many gaps here because they just use those style of hinges, and so I just decided to change that. So without further ado, let me just show you the beginning works of a wing. Alright guys, so we are back. Now this is just the prototype of the wing, I guess. Now this is going to be in the end 3 plates thick. You have plates on the bottom, as you can see here. And then, of course, the structure itself with all these little filler pieces. And it will be 4 places thick in some areas with these plates. And then I guess if you're counting the tiles, it will be a max of 6 places thick. But that's only in just one little area. Now, if you're wondering where all these inside pieces came from, these are all from the TIE Fighter, the UCS model. I just was throwing pieces together. It took me a little while to come up with this exact design. It's not the sturdiest, but once you get the actual top on, it's very sturdy. So I'm going to just point out which pieces did not actually come in the TIE Fighter. And these hinges, of course, did not come in the TIE Fighter at all. Had to order those. And then this little hook piece right here as well, that will cover up a gap in the front that we'll get to later in the episode. Then, of course, this piece right here. Everything else actually came in the TIE Fighter. It's very fortunate. Now, with more wings, when I build the other 3, I will probably have to bricklink a few of the pieces that the TIE Fighter had, but just not enough of. But that, as you could also see, I've started putting this structure on. So I want to just get to the part where the actual full structure is on right now. Alright guys, so we are back again, and this is the full structure completely built. Now we just need to design the border still, but I just want to do a once over of the structure really fast here. Of course, we start with this little hook thing and we make our way across, and these are all pieces, of course, from the TIE Fighter. And then, of course, these pieces sticking out here are going to be what the border will sit on. We'll get to that when we get to the border. And then here is just this little piece right here, which is going to be representing this piece right here. Now, I'm not completely sure what I'm going to do with the final design here. Now, it's just on enough of these pinhole pieces right now to make it work. I haven't decided if I'm gonna like make the whole thing pinholes, because I'd have to hunt down a few more to do that because the TIE Fighter didn't come with all of those, but I'm not completely sure yet. Now, to make our way to the end, I've started to put some of the border on, which we'll just look over really fast here. Now, what I've ended up doing, this was the most challenging part of the border itself. I just had this little 1x2 sticking out here, and then on the back I left this little space right here, and it just rests on it right there. That was the only way I could come up to get this to work. It would not have worked otherwise, and it really doesn't look that bad in the end. And if you're wondering about how sturdy this is, it's actually very sturdy once it's all together. I'm very impressed on how it came out, and it will definitely stand up to display. Of course, on the back we've got the a mimicking piece of that, and then there isn't a 1x4 right there because when it actually attaches to the wing, there needs to be space there. We'll get to that when we actually attach the thing. So now I just want to put the border on and show you guys what it looks like. Alright guys, so we're back. I've put in the actual top of the thing on the structure, and obviously the border isn't on completely yet, but this is just what it looks like so far. It came out very nice in my opinion. We're going to start with the front, which was, we have that little hook piece that that I showed you before I put this top on. And as you can see, all these pieces came from the TIE Fighter. These pieces that will be sticking out here are what the border is going to be put on. We'll get to that when we get the border on, obviously. Then as we just move along, it's just all pieces from the TIE Fighter. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to incorporate these big tile pieces into this wing. I did try, but it was just too long. It wasn't going to work, unfortunately. But I guess it still looks good the way it sits. And then of course we have another piece sticking out for the border. And these hinges obviously did not come with the TIE Fighter. It came with no hinges, to be exact. I just had to order these off Bricklink because I didn't have the quantity I needed. And of course we have this right here, which is of course mimicking this right here. This piece right here. It's just been done a little better. It's actually in the center of all the studs using these pinhole pieces. Now I'm not completely sure on the final design of this. Right now I'm just using the bare minimum pinholes to make it work, and I'm not sure if I want to just do it all pinholes. It will definitely look a lot better, but I don't think I have enough to do it. I probably do, but it's going to take a lot of searching. My parts really aren't that organized, unfortunately. And we're going to make our way to the back, and we've gotten part of the border on. Now this was the hardest part of the border to make, and I'll get into that right now. You can see it's just hinged up here. It's actually in part of the superstructure itself, and you'll see this little piece sticking out right here, and that will rest on this piece. I left a little gap here, and it will just hinge into here and rest right on it, and it looks actually pretty well for how that is designed. I could not design it any better, unfortunately, given the pieces from the UCS Tie Fighter. I didn't want to put another hinge right here because I've already low on hinges, so I just decided I will leave it at that. It actually doesn't look too bad how that is made. And then of course the back, you have this piece that's mimicking the front that we got to. And if you're wondering why there isn't a 1x4 here, when this actually attaches to the wing, there needs to be a little gap there. We'll get to that when we actually attach it. Of course, we already got to this piece. So now I want to show you the border with it on the wing fully. Alright guys, we are back with the final wing design. Obviously, we already took a look at this part, so we're going to begin with this. Now, this is all actually connected with one continuous piece. We have some hinges here folding on this corner, and then it's connected right here on this piece. And then we're going to make our way along, and you just various tile pieces that came in the UCS Tie Fighter. And then of course we have that little hook piece that is somewhat blocking the gap that we have in the front. Now, there was unfortunately no way to eliminate this gap. It was physically impossible given these hinges. So in the front we just have these hinge pieces right here that are of course connecting the other side, which is connected to this little joint right here and this joint here. That is what we've come up with the border. Now, there is a flaw, unfortunately. This border, this piece is fine. It was well done. There's no flaws except for that little gap, I guess, right there. But this whole joint piece is under an incredible amount of tension. I'm really surprised none of the pieces have actually broken yet, and I imagine they will over prolonged display. But that was the only way I could do it, unfortunately. If I were to just put it one stud less, it would be very loose and there would be a lot of gaps right up top, especially. Like it looked very bad. So unfortunately it had to be dealt with high tension. I will probably be at this for another few months to try to figure out what to do, but right now I am definitely stuck. So now that we've finished this piece right here, I want to show you the other piece I have finished as well. Right here, I have the same exact piece, of course, except it's inverted from the other one, as you can see right here. And this piece is under just as much tension, unfortunately. I added a little piece right here for detail. I might do that on the other one, I'm not sure. I need to put these tiles on this still, but for other than that, it is exactly the same. So now what I want to do for you guys is connect it to the bracket and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so we've attached it. Now this looks pretty good from initial impression. It's got the angle of the wings right, and then the bracket looks very seamlessly connected. But when you look a little deeper, unfortunately, I've done some counting errors, I guess, because this is off by about 2 studs in width. It's supposed to exactly line up with these pieces right here, and as you can see, it doesn't really even come close. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm probably going to get like a 2x8, just put it right there, and just put a tile on the 2x8, and that would connect it pretty well. And then on the other stud part, just put like a 1x8 black tile to cover that up. That's probably what I am going to end up doing. I'm not completely sure yet. We'll get to that next episode for sure. There's still a few detail pieces, especially up here, and then I'm going to add a few more pieces here and that I still have to work out. But this is the initial design. It's very sturdy when it's on its side, but when you put it like on straight from the bottom and you're not holding it, it will come right off, unfortunately. That is a flaw. But when it's on its side, as you can see, it's very, very sturdy on its side. That bracket did a really good job covering it on its side, of course. And when we get to the inside section, I'd like you to take a look at these pieces, this piece right here. Now I'm going to put a lightsaber wand there. I've got a Technic little pin there in there already. I'm going to put lightsaber wands to mimic the blasters. And then other than that, we've got these right here how, like, remember when I was saying how of these pieces right here. Now this is my favorite part of the build so far. It lines up perfectly. It could not have asked for any better. This bracket actually stops the hinges from allowing the thing to go on to any more sharper angle, which is perfect because this is the perfect angle. I don't know how that worked out, but it did. But I might cover up these with a 2x2, this gap. I probably end up doing that, but other than that, I just love how this just connects. It's my favorite part, like I just said. But that is just one side we've got done so far. The too special. Gotta work out this flaw. But other than that, it's definitely done in terms of design. I just need to copy these wings and bracket and put it on the other side. But that'll be next week as well. We got a lot planned for next week. I might actually have to make 4 episodes because I have to design a stand as well. But with that, guys, that was this week's episode. I apologize for it being late. Like I said, I've been very busy. This end of the semester is almost here, and it's one of the most amount of work is here. So with that, guys, be sure to subscribe for next week's episode and possibly even another episode. I don't know yet. And I've been working on a lot in terms of stop motion as well. I'll do an update video probably tomorrow. So that, guys, peace out.